order, the Board of Zoning Appeals of the City of Decatur, Indiana. First order of business, everybody should have received via email or conventional mail a copy of the minutes of the September 15, 2015 BZA meeting. Do we have any comments or corrections? And if not, do I have a motion to make it a matter of record?
I so move.
Second. Moved and seconded to make the minutes of the 9:15 meeting as distributed a matter of record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Next item, presentation of the proof of publication of this evening's meeting. That public notice was given. I'm going to distribute it for everybody to look at, as well as an affidavit of notice of public hearing and notification of approximately 15 surrounding property owners for the two properties in question this evening. Dave, please. Now that all the board members have had the opportunity to review the proof of publication and the notice of surrounding property owners, do we have any questions about it? If not, do I have a motion to make it a matter of record?
I so move. Second.
Moved and seconded to make both the proof of publication and the notice to surrounding property owners a matter of public record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved to make that a matter of record. This evening, before us, we have two applications, and I want to confirm this with the city attorney that even though the applications are very similar in nature, that we need to consider them one at a time.
Yes.
Okay, so we will be considering two different applications separately. The first application is by Kevin Biggs of Biggs TC Development, is requesting a special exception for a residential development plan at 101 North 2nd Street, the Fifth Third Bank Building, Decatur, Indiana, which is in a C2. Commercial Zone 2, General Commercial District. Refer to City Code 150.131, uses permitted by special exception. Is there anybody here from the applicant that would like to make a presentation to the board? Kevin, could you take a moment and make sure that microphone is turned on, please? Sure. All you have to do at the base, depress the button for about 3 seconds and the red light will come on.
Check, check. So you got a red light just flashed?
Yeah, it should be on.
This button?
Nate?
It appears to be flashing right now.
That's it, though. Yes.
Check, check. Me? You want me to stand by?
Hey.
Yeah, the microphones are on, so,
Check, check. Even with those mics, we should be able to pick them up. But
okay.
I'd be happy to present right over here by this mic if that was live.
That's fine.
Hit that button, Dave.
Okay.
There we go. Better, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg, appreciate you having me here. Kevin Biggs, Biggs TC Development. Business is located at 522 South 13th Street here in Decatur, Indiana. What we're asking today is approval on special use of residential, this one particularly in the Fifth Third, what we're referring to as the Fifth Third building. It's currently owned by Bruce Bush. We have the property under option to purchase to be part of a housing project. Currently, the property does have various apartments in the upper stories of the building, but our development proposal will be to redevelop the property. A total of about $7.5 million investment in the project as a whole, which not only includes the Fifth Third building, but a building across the street that's also on the agenda and a few other ancillary properties in town. This investment, I think, will be a great part to the revitalization of Decatur, Indiana. It has been presented several times to the community as a whole through the Stellar Communities application process. Even though we were unsuccessful at the Stellar Communities designation, we still want to move forward with an application to IHCDA at the state for an allocation of housing credits to fund this project. Again, we feel this is going to be a very catalytic project for downtown revitalization, and we're seeking the approval here for the zoning to be appropriate.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board for Mr. Biggs?
I do, on parking.
Sure.
If there's 35 lots, right?
There, currently we have 28 units, 14 in the building that we're speaking of currently and 14 in the one across the street. And to address parking, we also have an option to purchase what I'll refer to as the Schaefer Glove Factory building, with the intent that it will be demolished, and on that site will be the redevelopment for parking and some green space. And so that parking will address both the needs of the building at hand and also the building across the street.
Okay, the application did reference 35 units.
We actually we now have 14 in each of the two buildings at hand here. There are actually now, it's been a little bit of a moving target, but there's an additional 12 properties that will be part of this application to the state, but they are scattered site in some various other areas around Decatur.
Any additional questions from the board for the applicant?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. We'll probably get back to you. Next item would be, is there anybody here that would like to speak in opposition to the application? Anybody have questions about the project that would be in opposition to the application?
I would just have a question with the...
Could you step forward to the microphone and identify yourself, please?
My name is Ed Dyer, 332 Mercer Avenue, Decatur. Just have a question on, would it be the upper levels of these buildings that would be residential and the lower levels remain commercial? I'm assuming, but just want to make that for record. Yes.
Sure, if you have
to answer that question for you.
Yeah, Kevin, why don't you just sort of hang close to the microphone to respond to those?
Sure. We actually have, on this particular building, the Fifth Third building, we do have at least one unit on the ground level that will be positioned behind the current space that the bank operates in. So we'll have an entrance off of Madison. There is a requirement. We are pledging to make 10% of our development fully ADA accessible, and so we do have that 10% will be occupied on the ground level. In this case, in this building, it's just that space behind the bank. We do intend, and we've had discussions with Fifth Third, that they will remain in that space and be a tenant for us, but that little additional space behind will be residential.
Any other questions for the applicant? With hearing none, do we have anybody that would like to speak in support of the application? Would you come forward and identify yourself, sir?
Cameron Collier, 620 North Waters Edge Drive in Decatur. Really kind of on behalf of, I would say the city, even the Greater Decatur Organization, Strategic Initiative, this is really at the request, this development is at the request and development of the Strategic Investment Plan through, what we previously submitted through Stellar. This is a critical component of that to try to address multiple things. But the big basis here is to attract, develop, and retain talent. And we're doing that through quality of life, but one of the big issues is positioning downtown Decatur as a center for creative engagement. And this is based in what has been successful recently. It's based in the history of our community. It certainly is highlighting the sculpture tour, but this is all part of that in developing loft living for artists and creative entrepreneurs. But it's not just that. It's also, I think it's important to understand that a part of this development will be, yes, an arts center, but also the business accelerator, the co-working space, the entrepreneurial incubator, if you will, for these residents. The idea is to bring them in, train them up, and to launch them into great things to revitalize our community. So that's the whole concept of why this is so important and critical to it. But I think it's also important that you understand that this is not just a part of Decatur's plan. This is being positioned as part of the regional, Northeast Indiana Regional Partnership, the Regional Cities Initiative. It's gained so much traction that just today it was pitched to Indiana Economic Development Corporation. When the Northeast Indiana went down and pitched the Regional Cities application, this is one of the highlighted projects in that application. And they see it as being extremely important to our region and potentially even a model that can be followed from other communities throughout Northeast Indiana. So I think I just wanted to highlight those facts that this is certainly at the request of the city. This is an important partnership, and it's much more than just housing. It's housing and support programs, which I'd be happy to answer any questions about that particular piece of it. With that, I'll leave it.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak in support of the project?
My name is John Schultz, 136 West Lawn Drive, also the mayor of Decatur. Cam took all of my information and said it already, so really, I just really want to go on record that it is an important part of our downtown revitalization. Besides the housing, we're going to be in the future planning is facade program, and then we also have a streetscape program. So this is one of the main things we want to do to revitalize the downtown. So I just want to speak in favor of the project.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak in favor of the project? If not, does the board have any additional questions? To clarify, the special exception is being requested because it is commercial zoning, and residential use in commercial zoning requires a special exception. Residential use in commercial zoning is an approved use within our code, and the special exception would be necessary for them to move forward with the project. If there are no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and read the findings.
I got one.
Oh, yes, Bill.
Are there any residents in those apartments now? Those units now? In those buildings?
I don't know. I toured the building with the owner at the time that we did. There were some apartments that we toured, but I didn't see any presence of the residents there at the time. So I think that was 6 months ago. So I don't know today if it's being occupied or not.
I was kind of interested to find out if there was anybody in there, and then what happens to those folks if they are living in there.
So, I guess to paraphrase the question, is anybody going to be displaced by the project?
Very good question, Bill. When we redevelop, we've done some acquisition rehab projects here in Decatur just over the past 3 or 4 years, such as Village Green, where we made a point to keep those residents in place throughout the construction process, only temporarily displacing them for maybe a week or two while they're units. We do not intend to try to operate in that manner because of the scope of this project. It's going to be a complete gut rehab, brand new spaces on the interior. But we will be happy to work with the current residents and with my property management firm here in town to help find them alternate housing, and certainly encourage them to apply for the new housing project once it's completed as well. As Cam mentioned, it does have kind of a specific criteria and tenant selection process, but we would certainly encourage them to apply, and in the meantime, if they can't be replaced back into the property, we'll do everything we can to find them appropriate housing still within the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, just real quick.
Just a question, if there's already apartments in there, which there have been for years, I just can't quite see why it needs to be rezoned if it already has that designation. Maybe it's a different designation, I'm just not unaware of the specifics of it.
Going to defer to the city attorney on that.
Because it's a total revamp of it. It's changing the existing use in a different way. So even though it's a similar use, it's still a major renovation. And so to be safe, we're going to go ahead and go this route.
And also the zoning isn't changing, it's just the use that's changing.
Yeah.
With that, any additional from the city attorney before we do the findings of fact?
No.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read. Just a little housekeeping review. There are 5 members of this board. 4 members will vote. I, as the chairman, will only vote to break a tie. We will poll the group. Everybody will do a verbal vote to tell you what they're voting. A yes vote agrees with the finding and agrees with the project. A no vote disagrees, and if we have a no vote, we're going to ask for a clarification of why they're voting no. So, the first finding of fact for the special exception to allow residential use in a C2 area is the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare.
Yes.
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 4 yeses. Item 2, the special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property value within the neighborhood.
Yes.
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 4 yes. Number 3, the establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Yes.
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 4 yes. Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, or other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes.
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 4 yes. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yes.
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 4 yes. The special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all other requirements set forth in 150.193 of the City Code of Decatur applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes.
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 4 yes. It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception is granted or denied.
Granted.
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 4 granted. Any restrictions? None. The special exception for the property at 101 North 2nd Street has been granted as requested. Each of the board will sign that special exception, and we will move on to the second application that we have before us this evening, which is Kevin Biggs from Biggs TC Development, requesting a special exception for a residential development plan at 118 North 2nd Street, Decatur, Indiana. The former Schaefer Hardware retail operation and/or music house, as you may remember it. Currently home to Decatur Downtown Deals, which is in a C2 General Commercial District, refer to code 150.131, uses permitted by special exception. Is the applicant here, and would you like to make a presentation?
Thank you, Greg. Again, Kevin Biggs, Biggs TC Development. Very much like what was just presented earlier to you, this is the second building out of the 2 major sites almost across the street. Again, redevelopment for part of this housing project. As I discussed earlier, 14 units will also be redeveloped into what's called the music house. There will be a few units on the ground floor to the back of the building that will be ADA accessible. The rest of the units will be located on floors 2 and 3. We are also in kind of collaboration with the City of Decatur developing some of the space that is the storefront along 2nd Street into an arts advocate area for art display and art functions, as well as a co-working space that will be open to the public for co-working activities. Other than that, it's much of the same as what I explained in the other presentation, and any questions for me at this time?
Any questions from the board for the applicant?
No.
Nope.
Thank you, Kevin. Do we have anybody that would like to speak in opposition to the application? Anybody have general questions for the applicant? Anybody like to speak in favor of the application?
Cameron Collier, 620 North Waters Edge Drive, and just to reiterate, this is again the kind of the keystone project of our making downtown Decatur the center of creative engagement by being able to provide services for those individuals who want to either establish or grow a new business. This concept of co-working spaces, I should note that's a big push in the region at this time. The University of St. Francis, along with the Northeast Indiana Innovation Center, are working on a very similar concept for downtown Fort Wayne. And in conversations that we've had with them, they are really liking the idea that Decatur could become really the center for excellence regarding rural entrepreneurship. And that's really being able to partner with them in those aspects. I think another thing I'd like to share, that this is a very unique project. It is when we're looking for that demographic of how we're going to attract and retain that talent to live in this, we have engaged with the University of St. Francis. They have a program called Media Entrepreneurship Training Through the Arts, which they take juniors and seniors and do a semester-long project. This semester, their project is working on how to market this housing opportunity to young individuals who would qualify, that are interested in living in a downtown environment, that would like entrepreneurial support and coaching and co-working space, and to make it available. So that's a very exciting opportunity for us, and how we're trying to be very targeted in our audience and very specific about what it is we're trying to accomplish with this overall project, the combination of the housing plus the Business Accelerator co-working space.
Thank you, Mr. Collier. Anybody else like to speak in favor of the project?
Yes, John Schultz, 136 West Lawn Drive, also the mayor of Decatur, would like to have support for this project. Again, it's the one of the top projects we need for the downtown. Following that, we'll have some facade program, and then we'll have a streetscape, but this is a very important piece of what we're trying to do for revitalizing downtown Decatur. So I'd like to speak in favor of the petition.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do we have any additional or final questions for the applicant from the board?
No.
If not, I'll read the findings of fact. I want to verify with city attorney that we've taken care of everything that we needed to. I know that was somewhat abbreviated, and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, I'm going to read the findings of fact. This is in relation to the building located at 118 North 2nd Street, currently occupied by Downtown Deals. This is a request for special exception, residential use in a C2 general commercial district. Item number 1, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special exception will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare.
Yes.
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 4 yes. The special exception will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property value within the neighborhood.
Yes.
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 4 yes. The establishment of the special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the district.
Yes.
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 4 yes. Adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided.
Yes.
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 4 yes. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets.
Yes.
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 4 yes. The special exception will be located in a district where such use is permitted and where all other requirements set forth in 150.193 applicable to the special exception will be met.
Yes.
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 4 yes. It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for special exception is granted or denied.
Granted.
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 4 yes, granted. Any restrictions? None. The request for special exception for 118 North 2nd Street has been granted as requested. Thank you very much, Mr. Biggs, for your application and for your investment in the community and in our future. We'll pass this around for the board to sign. We will move on to old business. The only item of old business that I'm aware of is the situation on 10th Street, the Gamble property. We discussed that at our last meeting. Is any update from the building department or the city attorney on that issue?
I believe the building department sent a letter, is that correct? Has there been a response?
Well, you called her today. Sharon did call
Dolly, the mother.
the mother of Mark Gamble, and the property is in her name, not Mark's. But she would not give us his phone number, and
Dave.
said he was out of town for a week, and pretty well left us in limbo. I know they've been hunting up a survey that he says they have, but can't seem to locate, but I have no idea whether they're pursuing another one, or where they're at on that.
They've been told repeatedly or asked repeatedly to bring it in, and it's been over a month since we first asked them, and then we've reminded them of it 2 or 3 times since then.
So unless there's a petition before the board has no responsibility or action. This is the building department and the city attorney.
There's nothing before the board at this time, so there's no action to be taken by the Board of Zoning Appeals, but I know there are some within the city government that are anxious to see something done. And if Mr. Gamble's not going to cooperate voluntarily, then we may need to go a different route.
We've given him ample time to make a legitimate, effort. He hasn't, to me, he hasn't done.
Okay. Well, that's something that we can discuss this evening then.
All right, any other old business before the BZA? Any questions from the board members? Building department? Do we have any new business?
Nope, nothing on the agenda.
Anything from the city attorney?
Yeah. My problem is I'm going to be out of town, so I can be available by phone.
I can take care of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can, but I would rather participate by phone if you need me.
But that would be
Tonight.
for Plan Commission, so BZA really has nothing to do about that, so. If there's no other business before the Plan Commission, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for